So if you haven't been keeping up with Britney lately, she has kind of just been on fire. She's posted some stories up to her Instagram, which she very rarely does, if at all, and they were actually calling out Christina Aguilera for not speaking up for her when in a recent interview she was asked directly about Britney. There's also been some stuff going about how Madonna is working behind the scenes, potentially trying to help Britney, and Britney even also thanked Lady Gaga on her story, and Sam's also been out in the mix doing some stuff, talking to interviewers about Britney and looking a little bit weird in some of the interviews, but I think it was more so down to his nerves, to be fair. But it has got a lot of people calling him out, saying that he's an opportunistic clout chaser and that he's just using Britney and that they haven't trusted him from the start, and this just confirms it to them. So let's just get into it. But just quickly, I'm trying to hit 3k by the end of the year. I really don't think I'll be able to do it, but any and all support would be really appreciated. So if you hit that like and subscribe button, yeah, thank you. Back to the video. Obviously, we all know by now that Britney was under a 13-year-long conservatorship, which she spoke up about in June to the courts, and thankfully it has now been terminated. So I think that just has given Britney a massive boost of confidence insofar as she feels vindicated and justified as to how traumatized she felt throughout that period, because presumably she saw that no one around her was raising any questions, bringing up any red flags, or did anything to try and help her. So I bet she kind of felt gaslit into feeling like, is it just me that thinks this is wrong? Why is no one else trying to help me? And I think that has given her the voice that she kind of lost throughout that period, to call out everyone now who did nothing but stood by and watched. And this is what she had to say about Christina Aguilera. To her story, Britney posted, "I love and adore everyone who supported me, but refusing to speak when you know the truth is equivalent to a lie. 13 years being in a corrupt, abusive system. Yet, why is it such a hard topic for people to talk about? I'm the one who went through it all. And the supporters who spoke up and supported me, thank you. Yes, I do matter." And I think that is so true. She is the one who had to live through that 13-year-long ordeal, and yet people can't even say 2 minutes to answer a question on a red carpet interview. Yeah, you benefited like collabing with her when, you were younger, and they've had stuff going on in the past between the two. Christina kind of said some shady things about Britney in the past, and she also even did one interview where she made fun of Britney or whatever for kissing Madonna with that infamous kiss, whereas she did it as well. She was on the stage and she also kissed Madonna, but no one cared or focused on that just as much as the kiss between Britney and Madonna. And Britney even responded to that in an interview saying like, well, didn't you do it too? And Christina has even gone out on the record to say that she felt left out after the Britney and Madonna kiss because the camera panned quickly to Justin's reaction rather than focused and actually broadcast the kiss between Madonna and Christina. So it just seems like bitter jealousy basically, because she didn't get as much attention as Britney did. And to be fair, there's been other things like behind the scenes that kind of suggested they had some, or at least on Christina's side, some beef with each other. And maybe not even beef is the right word, but more so like ambivalence towards each other. But Britney always spoke highly of Christina and never said anything badly about her, no matter what anyone was saying about her to the press. So for 13 years, she's like held her tongue, and I think now she's just letting it all go. And this is the interview that Britney was referencing when she called out Christina.
Britney, have you had any communication? Have you guys had any communication?
No, we're not doing that tonight. I'm sorry. Thank you. No, bye.
Okay.
But I'm happy for her.
So as you can see, her manager was just quick to step in there and told her not to say anything. So maybe whether Christina had any say in that is maybe something else, but it would have taken like 2 seconds just to say something more heartfelt than "I'm really happy for her." I don't know, it just seems a bit false, especially since they've actually, they've worked with each other for so long in the past and there's actually a history between them. I think Britney is completely justified feeling betrayed and just calling her out, saying that being complicit in all of this cover-up is just the same as telling a lie, because you're given the impression that everything is okay, which isn't the truth. And some people came out in defense of Christina, saying that she had actually tweeted after Britney came out with her statement to the courts earlier this year, where part of the tweet that Christina made was, These past few days, I've been thinking about Britney and everything she's going through. It is unacceptable that any woman or human wanting to be in control of their own destiny might not be allowed to live their life as they wish. And an Instagram account by the name of Dumois, which is kind of a place for all celebrity and pop culture gossip, posted a response to someone questioning why it was necessary that Christina speak out, because she had in the past, and responded to someone saying, "Justice for Christina?" She tweeted a huge response in support of Britney on June 29th, just saying, and the account Dumois responded, "Then why couldn't she take 2 seconds to answer the question, just saying?" So I think most people are feeling that Britney is completely justified in calling out Christina. And the account by the name of Super Duper Maxi also kind of sided with Britney on this, and I'm not entirely sure his relationship to Sam, but as you can see, he has worked with Sam in the past. I think it's a makeup artist or a photographer or something along those lines, but what he had to say was, "Sometimes I stay out of it, pick your battles wisely. I don't think it was meant to be an attack. I think she was just speaking her mind online instead of sending a text, saying it's a sensitive subject, but no need to fear it. Past rivalries were made up by media and we don't need wars now." And that probably has some truth to it as well, because I think a lot of beef between the two maybe just was hyped up by the media because that was what would get clicks back then. But I do think there was some legitimacy to some kind of beef between the two of them. But to what extent, I don't know, and it did always seem to come more so from Christina's side, because as I said, anytime anyone questioned Britney about it, she just spoke highly of Christina. And speaking of fake news, Hollywood Life, which isn't really reputable, so their quote-unquote source could have just made this whole bullshit claim up, but they're claiming that Christina wants a private chat with Britney Spears over conservatorship shade. The article went on to say that Christina Aguilera was genuinely surprised after being called out by Britney Spears on Instagram. Christina wasn't expecting to be called out by Britney. She was genuinely surprised over the call out. They obviously aren't close friends with each other anymore, but they still hold a history with each other that Christina feels she should still protect, a source spilled to Hollywood Live exclusively. Now Christina would like to have a private chat with Britney to settle some issues that clearly lie, they also said. So whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I can imagine it's probably along the lines of how she's feeling. But either way, I think Britney was justified to call out anyone who saw the truth and saw behind the scenes of everything that Britney was going through, yet did nothing. But as well as speaking of Christina, Britney also thanked Lady Gaga for speaking out for her. Britney's story read, "Thank you, Lady Gaga, for genuinely taking your time to say something so kind. You made me cry. I love you." And that's so sweet that it made her cry. And I think it's more so not necessarily what she said, but just the fact that she said something. I think that means more to Britney than anything at this point. And Lady Gaga actually responded to that in her own story, where she said, "Love you, Britney Spears. Live your best life. I prayed for the legal system to treat you like a person. You've now changed the course for women in the industry forever. You stood up for yourself and were so brave. Thank you." And that was part of what Lady Gaga was saying in her interview that Britney thanked her for. It was down to Britney, and she did this herself. So Britney needs to kind of stop thanking everyone around her. She did this, it was her. And this was the interview that they were talking about.
Beautiful. Well, I've got to ask you, you sent out a beautiful message in support of Britney. Have you been cheering her on from the sidelines this whole time like we have?
Of course I have, and it's unfortunate because the truth is that the legal system doesn't care about what we have to say. But we have to just pray and hope that they're going to see the truth and that there will be justice. So I prayed for her this whole time, and I'm so happy for her. And I don't want to speak on behalf of her. I want everyone to know that, we can all cheer her on, but really and truly, it's her that made this happen. And I think that we should applaud her for adopting her own freedom.
Exactly. For her, for helping us turn Free Britney into Freed Britney.
Yes, and that's her. She did that.
And speaking of people who didn't want to or weren't allowed to speak out about Britney, the director of Britney vs. Spears documentary that aired on Netflix actually spoke out about no one wanting to do the documentary. Erin Lee Carr tweeted out this: "Many of the celebrities I reached out to speak on the legacy of Britney Spears did not respond, or when I followed up with through their PR person, declined immediately. What was going on with Britney was not a secret, and I'm really impressed that she is calling people out. I tried to do what I could being a documentary filmmaker, but it's now about her being able to use her voice to say whatever she wants, something she hasn't been able to do for more than a decade. And I think that is completely on point. The fact that people would completely denied or just blanked this person trying to make a Netflix documentary about the horrendous abuse that Britney had gone through just shows how deep it went, that people, like Britney said herself, not speaking up on the truth, were complicit in the lie and hiding it all. But now moving on to Sam, he's been out in the House of Gucci event and he did a couple of interviews where some people were questioning his answers, but I think he was just really nervous, and I think Britney isn't ready to face such a public event, so he had to go by himself, and obviously everyone was asking questions about Britney and him, and I think he tried his best to kind of not focus too much on Britney, not because he didn't want to talk about her. I think it was more so he was respecting her privacy. So this is what he had to say.
How are you dealing with all the spotlight on you now? You know, you were a private person until you started dating Britney Spears, and now that she's free, you're going to be out there more. How are you handling it?
Yeah, man, I mean, I'm not dealing with it, so to be honest, I figured the best way to deal with this thing is not to deal with it on myself. I'm just living my life and having a great moment, and I just want to thank her so much for putting me on the map as far as, everything else that's going on in my career. She helped me so much with that. Let's be real. Let's be real now, right?
Did you think the day would...
So to be fair, I think he's just being completely genuine. He's saying he's not dealing with it, which I either got the impression that he was saying it's Britney who has to go through all of this, it's not me, or he's saying that he's not going to play into it and he's just doing him and focusing on his work right now and trying to not let it get to him. And he actually posted that clip onto his story, so I think it was kind of like a rebuttal to everyone saying all the time that you're just using Britney. He's acknowledging it in this interview that she has helped propel his career, but if you think about back to when she was dating Kevin, he did absolutely nothing. This whole time, 5 years of presumably the hardest point in Britney's life, he stood by her side and presumably has been her rock, especially because everyone else had basically just abandoned her. She had no way to reach out to anyone else, so the fact that he was the only one in her life that probably stood by her through everything probably means the world to her right now. And he's not really just sponging off Britney, because he has been working to make his own career, and he was a fitness influencer before he even met Britney. That's how he got into do her video shoot of Slumber Party where they met. So it was like he was getting places without Britney, but it is true to say that he wouldn't be where he is now without Britney, and he acknowledged that himself. And I think it is a bit unfair sometimes where people say, why aren't you talking more about Britney? Why aren't you talking more about Britney? But then as soon as he does, it's like, see, you're using Britney as clout to get to the places that you want to be. You're just an opportunistic clout chaser, and you can't do right for doing wrong. So I think people are quick, like rightly so, to question everyone in Britney's sphere. But I do think we have to give Britney the autonomy to make her decisions herself, and she knows what she's doing. She's been with him now for going on 6 years, which I think is coming up to being her longest ever relationship. And like I said, Sam's been with her through it all and stood by her side at that, and it's just been the two of them against the world. So I think we just need to give Sam a break sometimes. But there was a second clip of an interview where this interviewer was really pressing to get details between Sam and Britney and all of the details about the wedding and what it was like now that Britney was free, and he was really clearly uncomfortable. His smile was completely disingenuous. He was just trying to put on a face to get across the point that, can we just move on please and talk about the reason why I'm here, which is to do with my movies and stuff. And as soon as she actually asked him about some of that stuff, he opened up a bit more and became more animated. And as soon as she went back to questioning him about Britney, he closed up again. And I just felt a bit sorry for him, because I think he's just trying to respect her privacy, especially because Britney wasn't there, he didn't want to speak on her behalf as well. And I did actually see on his story that she was clearly in a hotel with him, so she was there, but obviously didn't want to come out and face everyone right now. And she also didn't go to Paris Hilton's recent wedding because she isn't ready yet. And I don't think we should pressure her into doing anything. It's the whole point of fighting for Free Britney is so she can have her own autonomy and make her own decisions. But anyway, this is the clip.
You look incredible. Are we in all Gucci?
Thank you. No, this is no. You know what? I usually don't wear a lot of glamorous stuff, but for Donatella Versace, I had to. She designed this, and you know she's the one that styled me, so it was so kind of her, and I'm here. Yeah.
Hey, wait, didn't Brit just post she's designing the wedding gown?
Oh yes.
Is that really happening?
Well, we'll see.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, how are you guys? I mean, what a time it's been, and it has been so awesome to see her enjoy her freedom again. How is she, and how are you?
She's doing great. I'm great. It's the happiest time of our lives, and we're just enjoying it.
Well, what's going to be next?
Well, you already know. Everyone knows already. Sooner or later.
Sooner or later what?
Wedding. Yeah.
When do you want it to be?
Sooner or later. Yeah.
What kind of wedding do you want to have? What's your dream day?
You know, it's up to her. She's wearing the pants now. Yeah.
Finally, right? Well, what's it been like to experience that? Because, man, we've just all admired how you have stuck by her side and advocated for her, and you've been the absolutely incredible best example of a partner. What's it been like for you to see her be free after 13 years, and you've worked for it so hard?
I'm just excited here for the movie. I can't wait to get inside and see the movie now. Yeah.
Well, I know you're into acting. You've been doing incredible stuff. Love you on that show with Casey Wilson. What's going to be next for you?
I just did a movie with Mel Gibson, and you know what? It was amazing. It was an action movie. It was surreal to work with him. I actually just texted him because he got a directing gig for the Lethal Weapon, and I was like, I'm going to be in that movie. You better put me in that movie, so hopefully.
Lethal Weapon 5, what kind of character do you want to play?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. That's a legendary movie, so it'll be an honor of mine.
I remember Mel had just talked about how he'd reached out and helped Britney over the years. So is he an important figure in you guys' lives?
I don't know. I'm just living my life right now. Yeah.
Well, I mean, texting Mel Gibson's pretty amazing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So anything in the immediate future? Are you guys going to be able to take a vacation anytime soon? We know you love to relax if you can.
Yeah, vacation is coming next too. So this is just from here on. It's amazing. It's heaven from here on out. Yeah.
Oh god, that was so cringe. That interviewer really needs to learn to read the room. His face just said it all. He did not want to talk about Britney, and again, I think it was more so just to let her have her own voice and not speak on her behalf again. She knows that he's biased. He doesn't need to prove that to the media, and doesn't need to speak out on her behalf if that's what they've decided. And it was clearly a joint decision that Britney wasn't going to go to the event, despite obviously supporting him, because he posted a story of them both at the hotel before he went, and Britney also posted a picture to her Instagram where she said how proud she was of him for being at this event. So it's clear that they went there together, but Britney just didn't feel comfortable yet, and again, rightly so, actually going to the event and being in such a public spotlight.
We're having some amazing food with the lioness.
Oh my god!
You did amazing styling my baby.
So let me know down in the comments what you think about all of that. Do you think Sam's being genuine? And what do you think about Britney calling Christina out? Do you think she's the right to do so? Which I think we can all probably agree she does. And do you maybe think Lady Gaga should have spoken out sooner, or whether it's just good enough that she's doing so now? And also I'm more curious about what you think about Sam though, to be honest. And there was also some stuff between Britney posting about Jeffree Star and promoting his palette that he'd sent her, as well as some of the lip glosses. But people were quick in the comments to say, girl, we don't like him anymore, because presumably everything that's going on in her life, she hasn't really had time to keep up with a lot of the internet drama. So she doesn't know that since she left, he's kind of been cancelled. And since that post was kind of made clear to her that maybe she shouldn't have done it, or at least obviously not being her fault, she should not associate with Jeffree Star, she was quick to delete that one. So there's been quite a bit going on with her, and again, just let me know down in the comments below what you think about everything that's going on, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much, and please like and subscribe. Bye.
Say what you wanna say to me now.